What's going on YouTube? Tranquil Warfare here, and welcome to my channel. So I am launching a new video log, and this is something that I've been super excited about for a really long time. I've dabbled a little bit in this channel originally when I started up my saltwater fish tank hobby. I have a 125 gallon saltwater tank thanks to my son. So why thanks to my son, do you say? Well, when my son was 2 years old, all he did all day, every day, was watch Finding Nemo. So we would literally watch Finding Nemo probably no less than 5 times a day. And, you know, that adds up pretty significantly over time. So we got to the point to where I was talking to my wife, and we were both saying we just cannot watch this damn movie anymore. So we came up with a compromise or a solution. I have always been curious and interested about the saltwater hobby. She was interested as well. As long as I did the work, I said, sure, no problem. And so one thing led to another, and we ended up with a 90 gallon saltwater fish tank. So you'll see that on some of my earlier videos. Some of them are pretty old. I, kind of dabbled in some things here and there. And from that time till today, currently I have a 125 gallon saltwater fish tank. It's 6 foot in length. And I've had it going for the better part of about 8 years now. So super excited about that. Now, the channel originally started with that, and Tranquil Warfare, the name of the channel, came from that. But it actually applies to really all of my hobbies. So I came up with the name because I thought, wow, it's so nice and serene and tranquil to just sit back and watch this saltwater fish tank. Watch the fish, watch the coral, the anemones, see how everything moves around. I always heard the saying that an aquarium is the best piece of furniture in your house, and I couldn't agree more. It's so awesome to be able to come home, sit down, and just relax. So tranquil, right? So you watch the fish tank, it makes you feel tranquil, serene, relaxed. Warfare, where does warfare come from? Well, if you know anything about saltwater fish tanks or the hobby, you know that you're not taking care of fish, you're taking care of the water. And you need to keep the water clean, you need to have it at certain parameters, you need to test it, etc., etc. So it's a constant kind of battle to make sure that your fish tank is clean, that your water parameters are good, so that your fish and your coral can thrive in that tank. So that's the heritage, or that's where the name Tranquil Warfare comes from. But I also think it definitely applies to my hobby of motorcycles. Now behind me, you'll see my 2006 Suzuki Hayabusa. It is customized, custom paint, extended swing arm, 240 back tire. It looks completely different than stock. Engine-wise, not a lot of changes. It's pretty straightforward. It goes fast enough for me as it is. I didn't need any extra performance parts. On this side of me is my 2021 Harley Davidson Street Glide Special. And this bike is absolutely special to me. The reason why I bought a Harley Davidson is because of my grandfather. I was raised by a single mother, and when she was at work, I was at my grandparents' house. So by the time I was 7 years old, my grandfather bought me my first motorcycle. Now, I don't know if it qualifies as a motorcycle. It's a mini bike. It's essentially one of those frames with a lawnmower engine in it that you pull the cord and you just go. If you saw the movie Dumb and Dumber, it's what they trade their dog van in for to ride to Colorado. That little mini bike. That's what I had from when I was 7 till about 15.
Got room for one more if you still want to go to Aspen.
I never rode dirt bikes or anything like that. That's probably one of my, I'm not gonna say regrets, but one of the things I didn't do as a young kid, so I missed out. But at 16, I did buy a Kawasaki Ninja 500, and that was a lot of fun. Awesome bike to learn, not too overbearing or intimidating. But once my skills and my confidence built, I outgrew that 500 pretty quickly. So within a couple of years, I bought a Suzuki GSXR 750. I had that bike for a few years. It was a lot of fun. And over time, I definitely, again, confidence, skill, outgrew that bike. And ultimately to when I got a dream sports bike, which is the Hayabusa. A lot of fun on that bike. I don't know or don't think I'll ever get rid of it. I really love it and truly enjoy it. Now, that takes me to the Harley Davidson. As I mentioned, my grandfather, he's the one that taught me how to ride. He got me interested in it. And growing up, he always had motorcycles. He had a bunch of different kinds of motorcycles. Never a Harley, though. He had posters of Harleys everywhere. In the bedrooms of his home, in the garage. His affinity for Harley was super clear, unmistakable, and you knew that he loved a Harley Davidson. He always talked about getting one too, but at the time I was so young, I didn't understand money. I didn't understand how expensive these motorcycles were. And I always went to my grandfather and was like, hey, when are you going to get the Harley? And he would always say, soon, grandson, soon. And unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, never having the opportunity to own a Harley. My uncles, his sons, all or two of them purchased Harleys, and a third uncle of mine, a third of his sons, he has a Moto Guzzi. And when I was a teenager, I would see my uncles go out on long road trips and think, as I'm riding my sports bikes, one day I'm going to get a Harley Davidson. But it really didn't hit home for me until a few years ago when I lost my grandfather. And at that point, that was it. I knew that was my goal. The next chance I had to get a Harley Davidson when I was financially ready, of course, and responsible, that I would do it. And on my 39th birthday, just this past July, I walked into a Harley Davidson dealership and bought my 2021 Street Glide Special. And so, as I mentioned, it truly is special to me. So I plan on doing a lot of work to this Harley Davidson, to the Street Glide. As I mentioned, Tranquil Warfare, right? So riding this thing is amazing. The ride comparison between riding on a Hayabusa, which is technically still considered, I think, a sports cruiser, so you're not so hunched over, but you still are. But even a sports cruiser compared to the Street Glide Special, you can't compare it. The ride is so comfortable on this motorcycle. It is amazing. It took a few rides to get used to the size and the weight, but I'm hooked. I love it, and I cannot wait to continue to ride and have adventures on this bike. So the Warfare, right? So it's real tranquil, real smooth, serene riding it, but the Warfare in the sense of modifications. So I've already got a couple of modifications done to the bike. I had them done before I even drove it out the lot. So I had them install 12-inch apes on it, as well as the Reinhardt slip-on exhaust. And I also had them do a flush-mounted gas cap. So if you know about the 2021s, they move the gas cap from the center console onto the tank, on the right side of the tank. But I wasn't really a big fan of the look of the cap just not being flush. And so I got the flush mount. I got a black one. I'll show you in a little bit. And I also got custom dynamic pro beam signal lights here on the front of the Harley. So you'll notice those pods are not there. I have the custom dynamic LED strips on there, which are super bright, actually. I was worried that they weren't going to give off a comparable amount of light as the original signal lights did, but these things are amazing. And I love the low profile of them, the sleekness of them, and the immediate change to the look of the Street Glide just in the front fairing alone. So I've got a list of other things that I'm going to do as well. Just to give you a heads up and a sneak peek, I have already ordered a new seat. I ordered a new seat from Bad Boy Cycles. I ordered the Scorpion seat combo. So it's going to have the driver's seat, the passenger seat, as well as the backrest for the driver. It looks just like a CVO seat, but I've seen the reviews on there, the customer service with Bad Boys. I haven't had to take advantage of it yet, but they've already emailed me confirming my orders and checked in with me a couple of times, so that's awesome. And I've also ordered a new sissy bar and luggage rack. I bought that from Suicide Choppers. So I did get the 16-inch Excalibur sissy bar, not the really big one, and I got the Punisher luggage rack. One other thing that I did add to the bike already, which you can see here, are the mirrors. So with the 12-inch bars, as I'm riding, when I was at the dealership, they were like, hey, you know what? It's not required that you add mirrors with 12-inch, but you might want to ride it a couple of times and then just check your visibility on the stock mirrors. And I can tell you with 12-inch bars, you need these mirrors. You absolutely do. I was busy trying to like duck under my arm to look in the mirror to see the cars behind me, and that's just not the way to go. So I did get these Willie G mirrors and the Punisher luggage rack from Suicide Chopper that has a skull on it too. So kind of matching that a little bit. I'm not going to over Willie G the bike though, if I'm being honest. I've seen a lot of people out there who, want to keep everything matching and the same. So go all Willie G or all Kahuna as an example, like the CVOs. And nothing against people who do that. That's a beautiful thing about the Harleys is you can make them into whatever you want them to be. But for me, I'm kind of going to piecemeal it, and I might live to regret that later down the line. I don't know, but I'm kind of grabbing things that I like and saying they look good. I think they'll look good together. I'm going to throw them on there. So with that in mind, I really do actually like the Kahuna floorboards. So if any of you guys have got the Kahuna floorboards, I've seen them put on a couple of bikes out there. I haven't really seen a good review on them. So if you like them, they're comfortable. My biggest thing is I want to make sure that it's not too easy to have your foot slip off of there, because the Streamliner footboards that come on the 2021 Street Glide, they're cool, but my feet slip on those things. And to be honest, they show dirt and wear fairly quick and easy. Now they're footboards, right? You put your feet on them, but we want everything to look good. And so, yeah. So I'm interested in those Kahuna floorboards. Let me know what you think about them, if you recommend them or if you don't. Now, the other thing that I've already done as well, so what did I say? I have the seat on order. I have the sissy bar backrest and the luggage rack on order. I did already make a significant order with Custom Dynamics. I do not like the rear end lighting of the Street Glide. I think it's too minimalistic, not bright enough. I want people to see and hear me. That's the safest way to ride a motorcycle, in my opinion. So I literally yesterday got a box full of Custom Dynamic lights. I'm not going to go through every single one that I got, but if you go through their website, there's a good chance you can pick out a handful of what I already got. So I'll share that with you in a later video. But this is all super exciting stuff, and I'm excited to bring some content to the channel and really just capture my experience. I'm going to do some video logging in the sense of like getting, I have a GoPro camera. I haven't set up my helmet to do that just yet, but I bought some of the materials to do that. So I'll take you guys on some of the rides with me. I'll share some of my experiences, maybe the places that I go. You'll get to see my wife. She likes to come on rides with me. I did already buy a backrest, a passenger backrest that they just had at Harley Davidson for a couple $100 just to pass the time before I got the Suicide Chopper sissy bar backrest for her. And that's because I want her to be comfortable. I want her to enjoy being on the Harley as much as I do. So anything that comes with her comfort, I'm already investing in. So fellas, if you want your lady to love your Harley as much as you do, invest in her. Whatever she wants. Seat, comfort, backrest, cup holder, whatever my wife tells me. If she wants a Harley jacket, I'm going to buy it for her because I want her to enjoy the experience. And I really want us to be able to take rides together and really enjoy that time as a couple. So before I break for today's video, I want to give a shout out to Red Ember Cycles. You see them here on my shirt. Red Ember Cycles, those are the guys that customized my Hayabusa for me. And they did a great job. This is 8 years ago, so what, 6-7 years ago that they did all the customization work, and it's holding up great. Bike looks just as good as it did when I brought it home, and I still enjoy riding it. So big props to those guys. If you guys are in Daytona, stop by Red Ember Cycles, tell them I said what's up and I sent you. And here in the coming future, I will have some more videos on my Street Glide Special and all the parts and modifications that I'm doing to it. So until then, ride safe. Talk to you guys soon. Tranquil Warfare out.